I never meant for things to end up this way.
I know.
I remember the beginning, though.
I saw my wife smile at another man, the kind of smile she hadn't given me in years. So I walked away ready to end everything. But just as I reached the door, she said something that made my entire world stop. At first, our life looked perfect from the outside. We had a beautiful home, stable jobs, and a routine that never changed. People often said, "You two are lucky," and maybe we were once. Every morning, we sat across from each other at the breakfast table, but the silence between us felt louder than any argument. We spoke, but only about small things: bills, work, groceries. The laughter we once shared had quietly disappeared. I still loved her. That never changed. But somewhere along the way, it felt like she stopped seeing me, like I had become just another part of her daily routine. Sometimes I would look at her and remember the woman who used to smile just by looking at me. Now that smile was gone, or maybe I just wasn't the reason for it anymore. And deep down, a quiet fear began to grow. Was I slowly losing her without even realizing it? At first, I told myself it was nothing, just a phase. People change, routines shift, that's normal, right? But then, the small things started adding up. She began paying more attention to how she looked before leaving the house. New clothes, a different perfume. She would stand in front of the mirror a little longer than usual, adjusting her hair with a soft smile on her face. It wasn't for me, I knew that much. Her phone became a constant presence in her hands. Messages would light up her screen, and she would read them quickly, her lips curving into a quiet smile, the kind I hadn't seen directed at me in a long time. And when I asked who it was, she would simply say, "Just someone from work," and change the subject. Late at night, when she thought I was asleep, I could see the glow of her screen reflecting in her eyes. She looked happy, but it was a happiness I didn't understand anymore. I tried to ignore it. I didn't want to be that man, the one who doubts, who questions everything. But deep inside, a thought kept whispering, what if I'm not imagining this? It happened on an ordinary evening, one of those quiet nights that feel too familiar to notice. We were at a small cafe, sitting across from each other, surrounded by soft music and low conversations. Nothing seemed unusual until I saw it. Her eyes shifted past me, and then she smiled. It wasn't just any smile. It was warm, natural, effortless. The kind of smile that used to belong to me. The kind that made everything else disappear. But this time it wasn't for me. I followed her gaze. A man stood a few steps away, watching her. And in that moment, something inside me quietly broke. They didn't touch. They didn't speak. But the way they looked at each other, it said more than words ever could. Time slowed down. The sound of the cafe faded. All I could see was her smiling like I hadn't seen her smile in years. My chest tightened. My thoughts went silent. That smile was never meant for strangers. And suddenly, I understood something I had been trying to deny for so long. Maybe I had already lost her without even knowing it. I didn't say a word. What was there left to say? My hands tightened around the edge of the table for a brief moment, as if I was holding on to something that was already slipping away. Then slowly I let go, not just of the table, but of everything I thought we still had. She was still looking in his direction, still smiling, and that was enough. I stood up quietly, the chair making a soft sound against the floor. She didn't notice, or maybe she chose not to. For a second, I waited just in case she would look at me, call my name, stop me, but nothing happened. So I turned around. Each step toward the door felt heavier than the last, like I was walking away from years of memories, our laughter, our promises, the life we built together. Flashes of the past hit me all at once. The way she used to hold my hand, the way she used to look at me like I was her whole world. I kept walking. If she's already gone, I won't beg her to stay. And just like that, without anger, without a scene, I chose to leave her behind forever. I was only a few steps away from the door when I heard it. My name. Her voice was soft, but it cut through everything around me. My body froze before my mind could react. For a moment, I stood there, staring at the floor, unsure if I had imagined it. Then she said it again, this time louder. I slowly turned around. She was no longer smiling. Her eyes had changed. The warmth I had seen just moments ago was gone, replaced by something I could not ignore. Fear, confusion, maybe even pain. She was looking at me now, not past me, not at someone else. At me, our eyes met, and everything around us seemed to disappear. The noise, the people, the distance between us. It all faded into silence. She took a step forward, then another, as if she was afraid I might leave if she moved too slowly. "Wait," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "You're leaving like this?" I could not answer. My throat felt tight, my thoughts tangled. But one question echoed in my mind. If I had already lost her, then why did she look like she was about to lose me? She stopped a few steps in front of me, her breathing uneven, her eyes searching mine as if she was trying to understand what just happened. "Why are you leaving?" she asked softly. I let out a quiet, broken laugh. "You really don't know?" She shook her head, confusion written all over her face. "No, I don't." I hesitated, then looked past her for a second, toward the man who was still standing there. "The way you smiled, I haven't seen that in years. Not for me." For a moment, she just stared at me. Then her expression changed completely. The confusion faded, replaced by a sudden realization. "You thought," she whispered, "you thought something was going on?" I didn't respond, but the silence said enough. She turned slightly and gestured toward the man. "He's not who you think he is. He's my therapist." I blinked, unsure if I heard her correctly. "I've been seeing him for weeks," she continued, her voice steady but emotional. "Not because of someone else, but because of us." My chest tightened. "I didn't know how to fix what we were losing," she said, her eyes filling with tears. "You stopped talking to me. You felt so far away. I thought maybe if I worked on myself, I could find a way back to you." She looked at me, her voice breaking now. I wasn't smiling at him. I was smiling because for the first time, I felt like maybe we still had a chance. Her words hit me harder than anything I had imagined. For a moment, I could not speak. All the thoughts I had built in my mind began to fall apart, one by one. The anger, the doubt, the quiet pain I'd been holding on to, it suddenly felt misplaced. "I thought I lost you," I said finally, my voice low and unsteady. "Every day, you felt more distant, like you were already somewhere else." She shook her head quickly, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I felt the same way about you. That stopped me. You stopped looking at me," she continued. "Even when we sat together, it felt like you were somewhere far away. I didn't know how to reach you anymore." Silence filled the space between us again, but this time it was different. It was heavy with truth. We were both there, I whispered, but not really present. She nodded slowly. We didn't lose each other in one moment. We just stopped trying little by little. Her words settled deep inside me. For the first time in a long while, we were not pretending anymore. We were finally honest. And it hurt. But somehow, it also felt like the beginning of something real again. For a long moment, neither of us moved. The distance that once felt impossible to cross was now just a few steps. Yet it carried the weight of everything we had been through. All the silence, all the misunderstandings, all the days we let pass without really seeing each other. I took a slow breath and stepped closer. "So what do we do now?" I asked quietly. She looked at me, her eyes still wet, but steady this time. "We try again," she said. "Not like before, better than before, but only if you want to." There was no hesitation in my heart anymore. "I do," I said. It wasn't a dramatic moment. No loud promises, no perfect words. Just something simple and real. For the first time in a long time, we were choosing each other with full awareness of what we almost lost. She reached for my hand, a little unsure at first, as if she was afraid I might pull away. But I didn't. I held her hand tightly, grounding both of us in that moment. "We start small," I said. "We talk, even when it's uncomfortable. We don't let silence grow again." She nodded, and we listen, not just hear, but really listen. A faint smile appeared on her face. This time it was different. It wasn't distant. It wasn't distracted. It was for me. And somehow, that simple smile carried more meaning than anything else. It wasn't about perfection. It wasn't about going back to who we used to be. It was about moving forward. Together, as we walked out of that place side by side, I realized something I hadn't understood before. Love doesn't always fade away. Sometimes it just waits for two people to find their way back to each other and choose, once again, not to let go.